In this video, let's take a look at NLP, Natural Language Processing, what it is, the sub processes, the tech involved, and the way forward. Now, if you think about it, the fundamental advantage for humans is the ability to understand, interpret, process language, and to be able to respond as required. Now, if computers have to become intelligent, then it has to master language, not one, but many. Now, this is where NLP comes into the picture. NLP is trying to bring this capability to computers and other systems. Now, not so surprisingly, it has been around for more than half a decade. The applications of NLP are all around us: spelling and grammar check, question answering, machine translation, NLP interfaces to the database, email understanding, dialogue systems. Now, the ease at which we humans do this is actually close to a miracle, considering the number of subtasks, processing involved, and the intelligence involved. Now, let's try to break these guys down and see the different sub processes involved. NLP is a highly complex subject and one of the most difficult problems of our age. We will take a very high level look at it to understand the big picture. Now, the input to an NLP system can come in as either speech or text. Ultimately, it has to be converted to text. Now, the conversion of speech to text itself is a highly complex task and a subject of its own. So now let's assume that we have the text. Now, to get a perspective, let's try to remind ourselves that there are thousands of languages. Each of these languages have different grammar sets, if not more than one. Similarly, grammar has different rules for sentences called as syntax and different rules for words called as morphology. The next step is the morphological processing. In this, the words which have structures, most of us are aware of root, suffix, prefix. All of these are called as morphemes. Now let's take an example. The word outputs can be split into out as a prefix, put as a root, and yes as third person marker. So all the text is broken down by its morphemes. The next step is to apply the rules governing the formation of sentences. The general categories are, and the groups are. So, for example, a sentence like Jane inputs the data can be split into categories, groups, and subgroups. This is also called as syntactical parsing. The next step in order is called as the semantic processing. Now, this is where we associate meaning to words and sentences. This stage is a highly complex subtask and has many approaches and is mostly domain specific. An example is to reduce the information after syntactical parsing using logic, knowledge of word meanings, and rules to a primitive semantic representation of the information. So, a sentence like the large cat chased a rat can be reduced into a meaning such as large feline rodent chased. The true meaning of the sentence can be only understood with the context. So, therefore, the next stage is called the discourse integration and contextual processing, also known as pragmatic processing. Now, in this step, we try to bring in the context and get the true meaning of the sentence. For example, the sentence put the apple, which is currently in the basket on the shelf, has two different meanings, and the only way to find out is using the discourse and context. A sentence could be purely declarative or it could be for information. Or, for example, a sentence could need some action to be taken, or a sentence would just need an acknowledgement, or perhaps no action. So, this stage is also a difficult stage, and the success rate of the ultimate output depends on the success of this stage. Now, at this stage, the NLP process understands the input text quite well. It has reduced the input text into a format which the consuming program would understand. Now, to apply this into an actual use case, this still needs to be fed into the next stage, which is the knowledge base, where the semantics, the rules, and other general information would be enriched based on the domain information. Now, these domains, for example, could be government, medical, science, education, and so on. The NLP has two different stages. The stages we have seen so far can be categorized as NLU, Natural Language Understanding. The next stage is called as the Natural Language Generation. The NLP processes use similar methods and techniques to generate text or generate an output this time. Now, this can be going in a couple of ways. One is to actually generate a text or ultimately a speech as a response. For that, the NLP process has to go through a reverse process of text planning, sentence planning, and realization. It can also be sent in another format to a computer and ultimately be handed over to an actuation or a requesting system. Now, with this information, let's try to look at a couple of more examples. Some more applications are prediction, sentiment analysis, linguistic analysis, relations and events, entity extraction, pattern recognition, text summarizing, mining analysis, and this is just a limited set. Now, so much is achieved in the NLP, and to achieve such huge goals, the NLP borrows techniques and methods from various fields such as linguistics, statistics, psychology, philosophy, deep learning. Now, this altogether can be categorized as AI and linguistics. So, having said that, there are machine learning algorithms which are being used in NLP. And deep learning is what is actually accelerating the adoption of NLP and increasing its accuracy and its success rate. In the coming lectures, we would see how the deep learning methods are making NLP much better and much more usable today.